Ugh.
This is
Iowa,
great.
Michigan.
It's
Michigan,
quick for me. Do you want to set it up? It's a quick one for me.
Yeah, I will say Michigan, around a 23-point favorite here. Although I think someone was setting up to take Iowa money to bet Iowa, dumbing it up and then hit it. Michigan, I think, down to a 22-point favorite, over under 34.5. The lowest by far in a conference championship. The previous low was 38. For what it's worth, low totals have gone over historically in bowl games at a very high rate. But the Hawkeyes, 40-19-1 to the under since 2019, 68%. 9 of their 12 games this year have failed to reach 35 combined points, including each of the past 7, which have averaged fewer than 24 points per game. As I mentioned last week, Iowa became the first team since 2000 to win more than 4 games while averaging fewer than 250 yards per game. It won 10, while averaging 25 yards less than the next worst offense in the prolific Kent State Golden Flashes offense. Iowa was one of the best under teams in the country, as you might imagine. 10-2 to the under, going under by an average of 4.5 points per game. Tulane also was 10-2 to the under. They had actually a better margin, but their total's a little higher. The best under team in the country, UCLA, 10-2, going under by 11 points per game. So look, Iowa's defense, it's pretty good, but they got dominated by Penn State and they ran through the Big Ten West. Their special teams are good. Here's my handicap with this game, though. I make it right around the number, so it's hard for me. I might bet just for fun, for shits in prime time. I might bet Iowa under a half point in the first half. I just think that'll be fun. But both offenses are bottom 25 in explosiveness. The path to Iowa covering is like
punt and return TD.
Yeah, that or just Michigan, like multiple 10-minute drives, and then they just sit on it. But here's the thing. Iowa wins these games and has gotten here. You got to give Ferentz credit for this. By all the stuff that I mentioned with Miami, Ohio. They never get penalties. They're top 5. They're number 4 in penalties. Guess who's number 1? Michigan. They do it with special teams. Michigan actually grades out better special teams this year. Iowa's 6 kicks blocked this year. Not good. Great kick returner, but Michigan best kick return defense. No DeJean on defense and in the punt return game. Both have top 10 punters. So there's no special teams advantage for Iowa either. Look, Iowa's second worst in the country in line yards. They have an offensive guard playing quarterback who trips over his center every other play. They're dead last in standard down success rate, dead last in yards per game. Both defenses are top 3 in points per opportunity. How does Iowa score? I don't know. I want to bet under a half, because I'm basically just rooting for Michigan not to lose a fumble in their own territory. I think that'd be funny, but I don't see much in this game. What do you say? You like the over, right? You're going to tell people we're going to close out the show, tell people to bet Iowa, Michigan over.
Well, let me go. Yes, but a little bit different direction. So I hear this noise about how Michigan can't bounce off of Ohio State and put it on them. And Michigan showed up against Maryland in a hangover overlook sandwich spot in between Penn State and Ohio State, and they screwed up there. I don't think that's going to happen here. Look, Michigan was in this exact same spot 2 years ago in Lucas Oil Stadium off of beating Ohio State. First time they'd beat them in I don't know how long. They won this game against Iowa 42-3. All right. They showed up last year after beating Ohio State. They beat Purdue 43-22. They've put up more than 40 points 2 consecutive Big Ten championships in a row. And all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that this Iowa defense, who's been playing the Big Ten West, is going to keep them from scoring. We can handicap if Iowa's going to score. They're bottom 10 and almost everything, quality drives, finishing drives, success rate, explosives. It doesn't matter.
Eye test.
It's so bad. So I think the question really is, what if Michigan decides to line up and play a little Penn State ball where they just ran Blake Corum off tackle and said, try to stop us? Is that enough for Michigan to cover and to get their amount of points? We don't know McCarthy's health. We don't know if they're going to let him pass. Iowa is the best in the Big Ten versus outside zone and man run concepts. That's not what Michigan runs. Michigan's highest run concept is inside zone. It usually comes out of the 11 formation. When you go into Iowa, I tweeted it out earlier today. Iowa has an extremely low 42% success rate against inside zone coming out of 11 personnel. Sorry. Michigan's going to run Blake Corum, and they're going to get chunk yards all over the place. I'm going to take Michigan team total over 28. This total dipped down to 34.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down more. I wouldn't be surprised if it steams down more. But if it does, that should bring the Michigan team total down to maybe 27.5 or 27. So I'm waiting. But Michigan team total over is a play for me because I think if they simply line up and do what they did against Penn State in the second half with Blake Corum, Iowa's not shown against inside zone that they can stop that. So Michigan team total over, I'm going to wait.